Sabaydi, welcome to LNTV English News Program for Tuesday, 30th March. I am Dongkha Bunyawong from Vientiane capital. Let's begin with high-ranking Lao official on working visit to Vietnam. A high-ranking Lao delegation led by Vice President Mr. Bunyang Vorachit left for Vietnam on a working visit from March 28 to 31st at the invitation of Ms. Nguyen Thi Yuan, Vice President of Vietnam.
A send-off ceremony for Mr. Bunyang Vorachit and his delegation was held on March 28 at the Presidential Palace, which was attended by ministers and Vietnamese chargé d'affaires to Laos. The aim of this working visit is to further strengthening the special solidarity and all-round cooperation between the two parties, states and people of Laos and Vietnam. During his stay in Vietnam, Mr. Bunyang would meet with high-ranking Vietnamese officials and visit economic production and tourist sites.
More than 200 golfers competed in the Tiger Charity Open at the SEA Games Golf Club on Saturday. The event was organized by the Lao Asia Pacific Breweries Limited in cooperation with the Lao Golf Federation. The Charity Open was to celebrate the 60th anniversary of the establishment of the Lao Front for National Construction. General Manager of the Lao Asia Pacific Breweries Limited, Mr. Ronnie Tail, said the hope that the money raised would contribute to the continual nation building and rapid economic advancement of Laos. At the conclusion of the event, a ceremony was held to present a trophy to the winning golfer. The Tiger Charity Open was attended by Lao Vice President Bunyang Vorachit, Standing Deputy Prime Minister Somsawat Lengsawat, and representatives of the Lao Front for National Construction, as well as various ministers, ambassadors, and senior officials. Prince Akihito, the second son of Emperor Akihito of Japan, and his daughter Princess Mako visited the northern province of Luang Nam Tha on 26 to 27 March.
A number of senior officials, including Mr. Bunkert Sangsomsak, Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs, accompanied the Japanese prince and daughter. Prince Akihito and his delegation was greeted at the Luang Nam Tha airport by Mr. Pimasorn Leungkama, Governor of Luang Nam Tha province, senior officials and local people. The visit to this northern province took Prince Akihito and his delegation to Nam Ha and Ha Nyao villages, Luang Nam Tha district, on a scientific study on wild chicken. A traditional well-wishing ceremony, Basi, highlighted by wrist tying with white holy cotton thread, was also held to welcome Prince Akihito and his delegation by Luang Nam Tha province's administration.
The relationship between East Asian regionalisms and U.S. foreign policy was the subject of a talk given to Ministry of Foreign Affairs officials and representatives from line ministries in Vientiane yesterday.
The lecture entitled Evolving East Asia Regionalism and the Role of the U.S. in the Asia-Pacific Region, National Interests and Strategic Imperative took place at the Institute of Foreign Affairs. President of the United States Pacific Forum Center for Strategic and International Studies in Honolulu, Mr. Ralph A. Cossa delivered the lecture. Mr. Cossa raised the issue of improvements and attempts at nation building by the East Asian community. He said East Asia regionalism is attracting the interest of powerful countries which are keen to compete in this area in a development role. Mr. Cossa also spoke about the role of U.S. foreign policy in the Asia-Pacific region. The Pacific Forum Center for Strategic and International Studies in Honolulu is a non-profit foreign policy institute affiliated with the Center for Strategic and International Studies in Washington, D.C. In addition to his role as president of the organization, Mr. Kosa is a member of the ASEAN Regional Forum as an expert and member of the Eminent Persons Group. The event was jointly organized by the Lao Institute of Foreign Affairs and the Asia Foundation in Vientiane. Director General of the Lao Institute of Foreign Affairs, Ms. Malay Vieng Sakoninyom, and Asia Foundation's country director, Ms. Gretchen Kunze, also attended the event.
And we have more news after the break. Lao Telecom will spend about 3 billion kip to build an internet outlet and install lease-line connections at the National University of Laos, or NUOL, so students and staff can access information online.
An agreement for the project was signed in Vientiane on Friday by Lao Telecom Director General Tan Samay Komasit and NUOL President Professor Dr. Sukong Seng Sanyalert. This assistance will be an important contribution to developing education and human resources in Laos, said Mr. Tan Samay. Internet access would broaden the knowledge of teachers and students at the university and enable them to communicate internationally. Lao Telecom has helped the education sector in other ways in the past, and Mr. Tan Samay said this latest project served to increase cooperation with the university. After the internet outlet is built, the company will follow up by providing good service, he said. Dr. Sukong Seng said the university is trying to build relationships with various domestic and international organizations to develop its resources. The installation of an internet service would help both staff and students to keep up to date in the field of education. Dr. Sukong Seng said the university has signed agreements with 145 universities around the world and is a member of a group of 1,000 universities. This meant NUOL had to do more to develop education to bring standards up to international levels.
Confidence and preparation was the key to their success, according to the winners of a recent French language competition.
Mr. Saktavi Sabudawong 20 and Ms. Dawlavong Yutitam 21 were crowned Mr. and Miss French Language Center last Friday, following a contest at the French Language Center in Vientiane. The competition required contestants to answer a series of questions in fluent French as well as show off their fashion skills with a runway show where they were scored by a panel. Mr. Saktavi said he was confident after spending 2 weeks practicing hard. He said he started learning French at the center in 2008 and has made strong progress. When asked if he was nervous at all, he smiled before answering, "Of course, it's hard not to be when you're standing on a stage in front of a crowd of people." But he said he was able to calm his nerves because he was confident in his own abilities. Mr. Saktavi promised he would use the title to be a positive role model for friends and others attending the center. He said he would especially encourage young people to learn French as a second language. Ms. Dawlavo expressed similar joy with her win, saying her patience and dedication had paid off. She had a distinct advantage over the other contestants, though, having learned French since she was at primary school. The contest was part of a program of activities held in Laos to mark the 40th anniversary of the International Francophonie Organization.
And before the conclusion of our news edition, we have good news to announce that the Australian Development Scholarship and Australia Leadership Awards, known as ADS and ALA application forms for 2011 to 2012 are now available for interested people who want to study in Australia. The scholarships open to public and urban categories. Deadline for submission for ADS is Friday 7th May and ALA is Wednesday 30th June. For further information, information, please contact Lao Australia Scholarship Office at Vientiane College at working hours or contact at the address displayed right now. I'm Dongkha Bunyawong and the news team. Thank you very much for being with us. Please join us again tomorrow at the same time. Goodbye for now.